My name is Paul Connolly, and in this programme I'm delving deep into the world of forgery and fake documentation. Now, obviously this is a huge issue in the UK, with no shortage of fraudsters perfectly willing to lie through their teeth to use them to get anything and everything they want, including jobs, entry to the UK, benefits, and even license to carry a gun. But how good are these forgeries? How much do they cost? And most importantly, exactly who is it that's making them?
What about if it's someone that you know is actively involved in violence, a hitman, a murderer? Because these people do use these types of documents.
Mm-hmm.
What's your attitude towards that?
As long as they have the same kind of views as I do, they're cool.
How can a hitman, how can a murderer be cool? I don't understand.
What's his motivations? What is the purpose of the target? As long as there aren't innocents involved, which 99% of the time there isn't,
yeah.
That's what that man has to do with that man. They settled their deal.
It's fair game for you.
Yeah.
This is the story of how I infiltrated the world of the forger. It is estimated that there is in the region of 20 million fake identities in use in the UK, and hidden in amongst them are criminals using those IDs, those fake identities, to commit crime of all kinds, fraud included of course, and generally try to get away with it. Now, these forged documents obviously look authentic, look legit, so they can, and they do, fool the authorities. And the forgeries don't stop with passports and ID. Nowhere to look, and you can get anything from utility bills to a P45. In fact, just about any document a fraudster could want is lurking a few clicks away on the dark web, a version of the internet that allows the user not to be traced. What some people, myself included, don't often consider is that it isn't such a bad thing for people that, say, live in countries where internet searches and browsing is heavily censored. For them, it's kind of fair game, isn't it? But what the dark web also does is give criminals somewhere to operate with almost absolute freedom. And they do. By simply downloading some software, anyone can access the dark web.
So, she seems to be coming up with some links here for me. And these are links to allow me to plunge deeper into the dark web. Here we go, like a criminal in their version of a candy store. Within a matter of minutes, I'm being offered a cornucopia of illegal wares. Counterfeit money, hackers for hire, cloned credit cards. Ah, okay, so here you are. This is when it starts to get really serious. So not only is there a single hitman offering his services, there seems to be a hitman network. Guns, human organs, God knows where they got those from. Even drugs can be bought here. And there's a huge amount of sites and resources that allow you to do that. All right, well, here we go, passports. So that's what I'm after, that's what I'm looking for. And they are all over the place. Plenty of them here to choose from. An original UK passport with info, pictures, 50% of the final price you pay up front. And the final price is £1,000 for a genuine UK passport. I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. So it's probably not a great surprise that more and more fake passports are being used by people trying to get in and out of the UK. Latest figures show that there was a 70% increase in the number seized. So are these IDs worth the paper they're printed on? How many documents, how many forgeries will you see coming into you, say, in a year?
Last year we saw 2,500 roughly, but that's only the documents seen at this unit, so there are other documents picked up by another government agency, so we see a small proportion of them.
Who is it that tend to use these type of documents? What's the profile of the person that tries this?
There's a great wide variety in people who use false documents. So it can be British people who are trying to do financial fraud, people trying to circumnavigate a visa regime, or people trying to pretend to be European Union nationals and bring in family members.
In terms of who it is that's producing these documents, does it go as far as organised criminal gangs?
Yeah, there are organised crime groups producing high-level forgeries, and they then have a sophisticated network for distributing those forgeries as well.
And if I was ever in any doubt about the scale and reach of these scammers, I'm not now.
We've got some French passports here.
Yeah.
Opening it up. Well, this one has a nice holographic laminate. It's got nice pale-coloured print. Lots of security features here, printed, perforated serial number through.
Yeah.
A machine readable zone at the bottom. This one here, it just looks, the background print here looks a bit of a mess.
So how quickly then did you twig that that was a forgery? How quick is it now that you can spot the difference between these types of documents?
I would spot it even before I opened it. The cover gives it away for me. Right, so this is a higher level of forgery.
So what is it then about this document that makes it difficult to determine it's a forgery? What's good about it in that way?
Well, the main thing that strikes you about this one is the holographic laminate that covers the biodata page is very good quality.
Right.
It's got lots of detailed design within it. Even the extra small print has been reproduced. So it would take even a trained person some time to examine this to determine whether it's genuine or not. One of the trickier parts is on this end paper, we're supposed to have raised print, and they have actually reproduced that raised feel. You can hear my fingernail running across it.
Yeah.
It is actually raised.
It's clear that these sophisticated forgeries are now being produced on an industrial scale.
Everything in this box was seized in one forgery factory. On top, we've got blank UK visas, and these ones obviously just come off the printer. There were also packets of them all cut down, ready to go out to be distributed. We've got British passports, Belgian, Finnish, Portuguese, Italian, Slovenian. I think there's some French in there somewhere as well.
If I was to have bought one of these passports from one of these dealers before it got to you and I tried to, get into or out of Britain, but got caught, what happens to me?
You'd be prosecuted by the police and you go through the court system and standard sentence in this area for false passport offences is about 6 months in prison. It's a serious offence.
Coming up, on the hunt for a forger.
Andrew Downs was responsible for making anything from a clean criminal record check to certificates for people who wanted to handle firearms.
And I tracked down a forger prepared to fake any document that I want.
I can put any number in that I like.
My name is Paul Connolly, and in this programme I'm investigating the world of the fake and forged documents. To the criminal underworld, these are the keys to the safe, allowing them to operate. And in the last series, I rented some real ID from a European crime gang.
How have you managed to get your hands on these?
I have a connection, who has a connection in Romania with the gang, and they use their connections to help some people to come to UK.
The types of people then, Dan, or maybe the types of criminal that come to you looking to rent these IDs, who are they and why do they need it?
I don't care, mate.
The ID belonged to a 25-year-old Romanian called Nikolai, and it wasn't questioned in 5 high street banks.
Yeah, that's fine. We can use these too.
Thank you.
This time I want to find a forger who actually makes up these documents themselves, and I want to ask them if they've any idea of how their forgeries are used and whether they even care. Because I know that even though they'll claim this is a victimless crime, it's anything but, as Wendy knows only too well.
Start me off, start to finish.
exactly what happened.
Well, for a long time, Andy and I, that's my husband, had wanted to buy a motorhome.
Okay.
And we've got 4 boys. I know. And we thought, it'd be great to have a vehicle that we could go away and have some holidays in and take the boys away on holiday and do some great stuff as a family.
Sure.
And I know for many people that's a great dream to do that. So we'd saved up a pot of money, about £8,000.
Okay.
We found a fantastic motorhome on eBay that was exactly right for our budget, and it was just the model that we were looking for. So I contacted the seller and I made them an offer. And very quickly they accepted the offer. So I was, cock a hoop. I was delighted.
Yeah.
We got really excited about it.
Yeah. And did they put you under pressure? Did they say something like, if you don't transfer for the money today?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An hour or two later, I got an email saying, if you want to secure this motorhome, you need to give us the money within the next 24 hours because we've had lots of other offers. So I emailed them and I said, yes, absolutely fine. We'll do it through eBay. At which point I got an email saying, please use a secure escrow system. So I thought, that's even better, an escrow account, because that keeps the money safe. It means that we can go and view the motorhome and make sure we're happy with it. And only when we're happy with it can we effectively transfer the money. Everything seemed so incredibly genuine about this motorhome. Then Monday morning came and we started to converse with the seller about when we could come and pick up the motorhome. And all that happened was they kept delaying. Oh, you can't come tomorrow because such and such is happening. Oh, no, sorry, the next day we're really busy, we're not going to be available. And by about the Wednesday, I had a terrible feeling about this. And the money, to all intents and purposes, had gone.
So how did you feel when you realised what had happened?
Oh, I just felt so stupid. I felt like such an idiot for doing what I would have advised other people not to do, to be careful online. It feels incredible that one human being would treat another human being like this, that they thought nothing of my pain in losing that money. Eventually, the police came back to me and said they found out some information that showed that the criminals had opened the account using fake ID.
I can see it in your expression even now, that when you describe transferring the money and losing the money and being manipulated, you still feel bad.
I felt incredibly guilty. I felt very responsible. Okay. I thought I'd thrown away this big pot of money. I felt I'd let my family down.
Yeah.
I just felt so utterly disappointed that this wasn't going to be the dream that we'd hoped it to be.
When Wendy couldn't get her money back from the bank, she turned to an online vigilante who's been busy taking on both the banks and the scammers. He's called Jack Buster, and he's agreed to talk to me online. Jack, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Thanks for taking the time. So talk me through the steps of the specific type of scam that you come across most, because it involves bank accounts, doesn't it?
It always does, yes, always. There's a bank account involved.
Yeah.
The bank account has been set up fraudulently. In other words, false ID has been used, false supporting documents. So when a victim of a vehicle scam, for example, online, transfers money into the bank account, the fraudsters will do their best to get that money out as quickly as possible before anyone notices.
So what happens once they bite and they transfer the money into the account?
Well, nothing. In a word, once the money is transferred, that's it. Job has been done.
So the springboard for this scam seems to be a bank account set up in someone's name that doesn't exist. It's fraudulent. How is it happening, Jack?
Well, they're doing it on an industrial scale. They bring in people from, generally speaking, from Romania. They are given some prepaid utility bills in the name that's going to be used for the bank account. Mm-hmm. They then go into a number of different banks. They'll show their ID card before they open up bank accounts.
So what are the things, Joe Soap, the likes of me and you, need to watch out for when it comes to online ads? What are the red flags?
If the price is ridiculously low, that's a red flag straight away. There's no reason why anybody would sell a car for a third of real value. Well, the second one would be the reason why, no matter what the reason, you can't see the vehicle. And until you drive it, don't send any money.
Yeah.
Another one, again, it's dead simple. If you can't talk to the seller, walk away. There's something wrong.
Alarm bells.
Yeah.
What kind of money is in it for fraudsters who set up these operations?
For vehicle fraud alone, the first 6 months of 2017, £100 million was lost for this kind of fraud by bank transfer.
£100 million?
In 6 months.
It's made me even more determined to meet someone creating these documents. But whilst my contacts try and set up a meet, I want to look at an investigation into fake documents which revealed the scale of the problem. It started in 2013 with a tip-off to Simon May at the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency.
I received a phone call in my office from a training supplier who told me about a man called Richard Stanley who'd been selling a fake certification from his company, and he'd showed great concern because it was firearms training.
Richard Stanley was an army veteran who had served in Northern Ireland, Iraq and Afghanistan. His military connections gave him easy access to plenty of ex-soldiers eager to make a fast buck.
A lot of military guys were offered carrots to leave the military and work as private security guards on vessels travelling through the Gulf of Aden off Somalia. And some of these carrots were $1,000 a day or more.
Simon contacted DS Joanne Ferguson at the City of London Police.
We received a report from the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency that a number of ex-servicemen were attempting to gain employment working on ships going into high piracy areas. The issue with that was that they needed to be fully qualified in order to do that, and the suspicion that we faced was that they were using fake certificates to get that employment.
And they weren't getting just any old jobs. Stanley was selling forged documents, including fake firearm certificates, and these allowed people to work as armed guards protecting ships which were travelling off the coast of East Africa from piracy.
It's good money, tax-free. You get flown to and from the areas, and you could work back to back. You could do it from one ship to another because the demand was so high.
Now, being an armed guard working off the coast of Somalia is a dangerous enough job at the best of times. But these fake certificates meant there was no guarantee anyone was properly trained.
They may know how to use a firearm, but they don't meet the right standard, and that means they put everybody on that ship at risk. It poses a massive risk.
Enough of one to get Joanne and her team digging.
The first thing we did was speak to the training organisations responsible for issuing the certificates, and we asked them to examine the certificates to see if they were genuine articles. And once they confirmed that they weren't, our next line of investigation was to find out who was selling these and where they were coming from.
The investigation led Joanne and the team to Stanley's bank accounts, where they found a series of payments to an unemployed graphic designer called Andrew Downs. Police raided Downs' house and found nearly 300 fake certificates.
At this point, we found that this fraud was huge, and there are several hundred people that have been customers.
Even more worrying were the types of forgeries he was making.
Andrew Downs was responsible for making a whole range of certificates, anything from a clean criminal record check, which obviously is very serious. He also supplied certificates for people who wanted to handle firearms. A whole range, anything people wanted, Mr Downs was prepared to make. I was really concerned for public safety. The whole team were concerned, and we decided that this had to take a top priority, and that we had to pursue criminal charges against all the people that were buying the certificates for these purposes and the people supplying them.
In 2.5 years, Stanley had raked in £62,000 and paid forger Downs nearly £11,000.
Andrew Downs had no consideration for the way in which these documents would be used and the seriousness. He didn't care about the harm to society. He didn't care about the harm he caused when he supplied clean police checks when he supplied certificates that somebody's qualified to hold a firearm and guard a vessel through high piracy areas. He cared about obtaining a profit and making money from his crime.
Downs and Stanley both pleaded guilty to selling and making fake documents. They were each sentenced to 2 years in prison.
The implications of what Richard Stanley was doing is immense. People who are carrying firearms are not qualified, work in that sort of industry. The dangers are unprecedented.
We won't sit back and allow the supply of this type of material on the market. So we're happy that we were able to stop the supply and prevent people from gaining employment that they're not qualified for.
The honest truth is, it is more or less impossible to get honest figures of how much these criminal gangs are managing to steal by using this type of fake documentation. But look, it's obviously very, very big business and something I need to understand better. From a sex offender with a clean police check to a terrorist with a new passport, these forgers have a lot to answer for. So, for the past few weeks, my contacts have been trying to get me a face-to-face, and finally, they've come up trumps. I am on my way to meet someone who I'm told is a big player when it comes to fake IDs and documents in that particular black market here in the UK. Now, I'm very keen to know how it is that he's getting away with this, what kind of business it is that he does, of course, and in a wider sense, how big is this industry really here in Britain? He doesn't want his identity revealed for obvious reasons, and I don't even know his name. The truth about this meeting today is that I know very little about the bloke that I'm about to meet. All my contact has told me is that he's at the top of his game when it comes to forging documents in that whole area of the black market. He's a little late, as they always seem to be. But finally, he does show up. How are we doing?
All right.
Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
So what do I call you?
You can call me Darknet.
Call you Darknet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Darknet. What is it that you specialise in?
Passports, whatever you need, really.
A passport for me. What other documents then do people come to you for?
Driving licenses, utility bills.
What's the cost to you?
How much does it cost to go down the shop and print off a piece of paper? But it's just my time you're paid for, really.
Why do you do this when there are so many things that, by the sounds of it, using the skills that you have, you could do? Why this?
It's easy. I could teach you to do it. It's easy money.
Coming up, I get deeper and deeper into the underworld of fake documents. 100% top grade passport that is getting you through any airport in the world. That is a scary, scary proposition. It's taken weeks to organise, but now I'm going face to face with a forger. Someone prepared to make fake documents for just about anyone for the right price. So it's money. You're doing this for money.
Everyone in this country seems to get put into a category, and once they're there, they can't get out. And when you see a lot of that around you, it's troubling. You don't want to be like that. So you look for avenues and passions or something that can get you out. Well, mine was design, and not a lot of people want to pay for designers these days, especially certain scenes. So if this scene's paying me, then well, they're part of that scene.
Put a figure on it for me. At your best month.
Over £5 grand a month.
So over £5 grand a month.
I've had close to 10.
Okay, so somewhere between 60 and 120 grand a year.
You can do more.
How big is this?
Billions a year. Basically,
Is there sort of a dark web as such of people like you?
it's not a dark web, it's just kind of like a private Facebook group that's not on Facebook. 1 or 2 words may go out, but it's just all code.
So if the authorities were ever to come looking and found this forum of yours,
Fine.
it's code. It's undecipherable. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Have you ever been caught?
No.
And how long have you been doing this?
About 10, 11 years.
So you're not worried about getting caught?
There's nothing that can get me caught. If you've got the evidence to hold them, great. Try and find the evidence for me.
So how do you feel yourself knowing that people could be committing crimes using the documents that you supply them with because you've enabled them to do it?
The way I see it is, I'm a designer. It's up to them what they want to do with it afterwards. There's times where you have your moments, but in the meantime, you just crack on.
Well, tell me about that then. If you do have moments, if there are times when, you know, your conscience is playing up and it does start to bother you, why? If you can tell me honestly, what is it that might...
Well, some people come at you and you can just see it in them that they want to cause a lot of trouble, anger, whatever. But, I don't know, you just put and bear it. It's the money, I suppose, isn't it? So.
But what about if it's someone that you know is actively involved in violence, a hitman, a murderer? Because these people do use these types of documents. What's your attitude towards that?
As long as they have the same kind of views as I do, they're cool.
How can a hitman, how can a murderer be cool? I don't understand.
What's his motivations? What is the purpose of the target? As long as there aren't innocents involved, which 99% of the time there isn't.
Yeah.
That's what that man has to do with that man. They settled their deal.
It's fair game for you.
Yeah.
So are you saying that if you keep it within the underworld as such, if you keep it criminal on criminal, gang on gang, wasn't that kind of thing you're happy to help and facilitate?
Yeah.
I don't believe, having spoken to you for a while, that if a terrorist comes to you, if a murderer
Oh
comes
yeah,
to you...
no terrorists, no. Come on, there's
So
a
now
line.
you have
There is a
standards.
line.
So now you have
There is a line.
All right,
For sure.
Well, tell me where the standards are then. Where is your line?
I ain't fucking with no terrorists. Simple as.
So what would you say then to someone who's watching this tonight and they're thinking to themselves that you are the lowest of the low, that you are an absolute bottom feeder? They'll describe you as potentially scum because you furnish very serious criminals with documents that will allow them to either escape the country or stay here and commit crimes. So to a person that would believe that, how would you justify what you do?
Depends on the situation. When it comes to IDs, what are these people fleeing from in their own countries? Murder, rape, bomb threats every day. Could be shot by military on both sides. So everyone's got their own story.
So you feel like a little bit of a vigilante, maybe?
In some ways.
Raging against
certain cases.
in a way. Okay. Final question. Are your family still alive, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes.
Okay. Do your family know what you do for a living?
And I'm a designer, let me put it that way.
Okay. Do they know what you design?
No.
So what is it that would stop you from telling your family what you do, honestly?
I don't know, it's just always that you don't want to disappoint home.
So if you were to sit down and tell your parents, this is what I do, I'm a black market forger or specialise in selling documents, do you think they'd be ashamed of you?
I'll probably get a slap round the head. Yeah.
Okay. Because in that situation, one or both of your parents, if they're still alive, of course, are going to look at you and not see their son anymore. They're going to see a criminal because that's what you are. And that's what they will then brand you as. So how does that make you feel? What do you think about that?
Depends on the laws at times, really.
It doesn't. It's always illegal.
But to what extent?
To every extent. So just do me the courtesy of answering the question honestly. If you sit down with one or both of your parents and they see you they're not going to see their son. They're going to see a criminal. So how does that feel to you that could and would maybe happen?
There is a bit of a disappointment there, that's all. I've done what I've had to do to survive. Simple.
As Darknet shows me later, forgery is very sophisticated fraud, unlike many benefit scams that rely more on opportunity than skill. Even though I've come across some pretty audacious cheats who'd massively exaggerated just how incapacitated they were, these fraudsters never cease to amaze me. Take 50-year-old Rona Vesey, who told the Department of Works and Pensions she was virtually unable to walk because of her bad leg. She couldn't, she claimed, even carry her shopping. Vesey was receiving around £550 a month in benefits to help her when the DWP received a tip-off that she was more able than she let on. So they decided to mount a surveillance operation and see exactly what was going on. Quite a lot, as it turned out. They filmed Vesey marching whilst playing the drum on 3 separate occasions, seemingly as fit as a fiddle. Vesey had to pay back the £6,251 she'd received in benefits and was given a 10-week curfew between 7 in the evening and 7 in the morning. One of the most bizarre benefits fraud stories I've seen, though, was the story of Emma Bent, who, despite earning big bucks through her pet cremation company in Derbyshire, was committing benefit fraud on a huge scale. She only came on the radar of the DWP following a completely unrelated investigation by the Environment Agency because Bent was charging vets for disposing of dead pets. But rather than cremating them, she dumped them in hedgerows by the side of the road.
The veterinary surgeon involved in this was able to identify that they had passed the deceased pets to Emma Bent. You can imagine that it was fairly distressing for the pet owners to be confronted with information that their pets had just been found in hedgerows.
Turned out that was not the only illegal activity that was going on. The prosecution discovered she was a prolific benefit fraudster, claiming income and housing benefit, whilst at the same time earning a fortune.
We'd found that Peak Pet Cremations had made in the region of £90,000. She had purchased a house in 2004 from her own money without having to borrow any mortgage, but she'd put it into her mother's name.
Last series, I reported that Bent was given a 2.5-year sentence for swindling the council and DWP out of more than 90 grand over an 8-year period. She's now out of prison, but, and here's the rub, she's had to go back to court where she was ordered to pay the outstanding £75,000 she'd swindled and given the choice: cough up the cash in 3 months or go back to prison. As they say, crime doesn't pay. Still to come. On the trail of the gang that scammed its elderly victims out of hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Mr Bates paid in excess of £650,000 for works completed on his home address. The surveyor valued the work that had been completed at £8,000.
And this forger shows me just how easy it is to create any document I could want.
That's not bad at all. That looks pretty much exactly like the real thing.
From romance fraud to fake drugs, boiler room scams to dodgy car insurance, these scams all have one thing in common. They take advantage of the vulnerable, people who take things at face value, which then turn out to be anything but. This next fraud, though, takes the biscuit. This gang tricked their elderly victims into parting with hundreds of thousands of pounds. DC Catherine Walker from North Wales Police started investigating them by following a tip-off from a bank concerned about one of their customers.
It was an elderly, vulnerable victim who'd paid out large sums of money, so I was immediately concerned.
89-year-old retired teacher Menwyn Parry lived in Bangor.
Miss Parry went into a local HSBC branch. She went in to see whether she had enough money in her bank account to pay the builders. The cashier was concerned because Miss Parry had paid out large amounts of money in the months prior to that, and they informed Trading Standards that they believed she was a victim of rogue traders, who in turn informed ourselves.
Police discovered that Miss Parry had paid out £61,000 for works to her roof by a local builder called Stephen Jones. DC Walker's first task was to warn Miss Parry that Jones was more than likely running a scam.
Miss Parry was very shocked and upset. She was a lady who always had faith in people. She always saw the good in everybody. One major thing for Miss Parry was that the builders that attended her home address spoke Welsh, which was her first language, and she believed they were trustworthy people because of that.
Unaware the police were onto him, it wasn't long before Jones was back for more money. This time, Miss Parry called DC Walker.
I went to see Miss Parry straight away and informed her she was not to pay any more money to any builders who attended her home address.
Jones had presented 4 new invoices for more work that he claimed he'd just done on Miss Parry's roof, but it didn't add up.
I'd attended Miss Parry's house on numerous occasions and could clearly see that no recent works had been undertaken. She would tell us things like the builders had told her they'd come into her roof space from next door. I obviously knew that that wasn't possible, that there'd be no access into her loft space from the houses next door. I didn't believe that any work of any great value had been completed from my visits.
Police then called in an independent surveyor to look at the roof, which, remember, Jones had charged Miss Parry £61,000 to repair. He valued the work at well under £2,000. And she wasn't the only one. Former school caretaker 84-year-old John Bates had health and mobility problems, but that didn't stop Jones and the gang swindling him out of his entire life savings.
Mr Bates paid in excess of £650,000 for works completed on his home address. The surveyor valued the work that had been completed at £8,000.
The investigation revealed that, along with Jones, there were 9 other people in the gang, including Jones's wife and Bedwyr Roberts, a security guard from Bangor who, along with other members of the gang, had been laundering the money.
Cheques would be paid in, and within a number of days after the cheques have cleared, the money would be withdrawn in a large number of transactions, so it wouldn't be taken out in one go, or the money would be transferred to other defendants who in turn would then take the money out as cash from the bank account.
Jones and the gang had conned their elderly and vulnerable victims out of almost £750,000, but they left a trail that landed them in court.
All 10 defendants were found guilty of all of the charges brought against them, which hopefully brought some closure for some of the victims. In terms of the money that they'd lost, I don't believe that justice has been done in returning any of that money to the victims.
Stephen Jones was jailed for 8 years, and Bedwyr Roberts got 6 years. Menwyn Parry died before the trial had finished. It's taken weeks to set up, but I've finally got a face-to-face with a forger, someone who's prepared to make pretty well any document for anyone who'll pay. And now he's agreed to show me what he can do. So what is it you're showing me here? What have we got?
Well, here we've got a HSBC bank statement that, if you want, we can throw in your name.
So you can doctor this for it to look like it's mine.
It's ready for doctoring now.
This is just a standard software package that can be bought off the shelf or online, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to be a criminal to get access to this?
No. What's your last name?
Connolly. So my full name is Paul Connolly.
Okay.
So C-O-N-N-O-L-L-Y. So let's make up an address of some description. 1, The Lane, London Drive, W16 or something like that. So how would you then line that up to make it look as if it's the real deal, as if it's an official document that was sent to me? That's not bad at all. That looks pretty much exactly like the real thing. And that took you all of about 30 seconds, didn't it?
Yeah. A maps here for 5 and 50.
Okay.
Well, we just said it goes straight out. I can put any number in that I like.
If I was applying though for a mortgage and they were looking for proof of earnings, I could get one of these documents off you.
Yeah.
Put in any amount that I wanted, and you could make it look legit.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The security measures don't seem to be a deterrent.
So what are the safeguards, the tripwires essentially that banks and other institutions and organisations will put in these documents to try and stop forgers like you?
Well, occasionally, for instance, you have these. You have these. So these are barcodes, like a QR code that is scannable by a computer and read. This is as you can see, it's just a couple of boxes, pixel boxes. Most of it's the same. This stuff is easily copyable.
These aren't obstacles.
No.
So if I handed you 150 quid now this second, how long would it take you to finish this for me?
Give me about 15 minutes in the printer. If that, and that's from scratch on this.
15 minutes. So you can just buy this online, or do you have contacts to get this?
It would be a contact thing just to be safe. Yeah,
So can you show me the document template that you would work from for like a passport? Can you show me how to do that now?
Sure.
All right.
So we take your photo. And bring this in.
Yeah.
I've taken out all identifying marks of the original example.
Okay.
So we're not going to be infringing on anyone's identities.
Again, this isn't taking you very long.
No. Because the tools I have at my disposal are so easy and powerful to use.
So the fail-safes that are in these passports, the so-called tripwires that make it impossible for people like you to forge these documents and make them passable all around the world. You're saying they're not strong enough, they're not good enough,
Yeah.
and that you can get around them.
Yeah.
So 100% top grade passport that is getting you through any airport in the world.
Yep.
That is a scary, scary proposition.
Now, it's fair to say that I am no expert when it comes to forged or counterfeit documents, but they, to me, look to be good quality and were done in a worryingly small, minute amount of time. So whilst I knew this business existed all over the UK, after that, it's genuinely made me believe that it's bigger than we thought, that this is not only a business, but a booming and a growing business at that.